Want to know why? Ask how. Howard the Humongous. Joe Biden's Oval Office speech Wednesday, July 24th, was more powerful than those who hate him may realize. It was powerful for a simple reason. It focused on the importance of 4 forgotten American virtues: truth, character, decency, and democracy. It was a speech about what Joe Biden ran on in 2019, saving the soul of America. In addition, it laid out 2 things. Number 1, what Biden has achieved in his 3.5 years in office, and number 2, what Biden intends to achieve between now and January 20th, when the next president of the United States is sworn in. Biden reported that his administration had delivered nearly 16 million new jobs and had brought manufacturing back to the United States, with new microchip and battery factories going up in Arizona, Texas, Ohio, Georgia, Michigan, and Oregon. His administration, Biden said, had upped wages, dialed down violent crime to its lowest levels in 50 years, and had given America the fastest growing economy in the Western world. Under his administration, Biden pointed out, more Americans had health insurance than ever in our nation's history, and fewer immigrants were crossing the southern border illegally than under the final month of former President Donald Trump. In the coming 6 months, Biden said, he would lower costs for hardworking families, would defend our personal freedoms from the right to vote to the right to choose, and would fight for Supreme Court reform, would call out hate and extremism, and would make it clear that there is no place in America for political violence. But let's get back to truth, decency, democracy, and the soul of America. Because Biden's speech focused on these profoundly American values, it was one of the most powerful presidential speeches I have ever heard. Yes, Biden's voice was hoarse and weak. Yes, Biden occasionally had trouble with enunciation. And yes, there was another issue hiding in the background, the one that Donald Trump calls the biggest hoax in American history and the biggest cover-up. Some Republicans claim that since at least 2020, Joe Biden has been a burned-out old man who has no memory and can barely put a sentence together. That belief led House Speaker Mike Johnson to demand on Tuesday, July 23rd, that, quote, if Joe Biden is too weak to run for re-election, then he's too weak to be President of the United States. In other words, Johnson implies that Biden should be tossed out of the White House. Now, is there any truth to the burned-out old man idea? Well, let's take a look at 3 simple facts. When Donald Trump ran for office, he claimed over and over again that he was going to pass the biggest infrastructure bill in American history. And he claimed that what he built would be as magnificent as Trump Tower or the Taj Mahal. After all, before he ran for president, Donald Trump was America's master builder, right? But despite 4 infrastructure weeks once Trump was in office, no Trump infrastructure bill was ever passed. Joe Biden, on the other hand, passed a massive $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. If he was a burned-out old Hulk who couldn't string 2 sentences together, that Hulk accomplished something Donald Trump proved unable to achieve. Could it be that Donald Trump was outdone by a walking zombie? Then there's health care. Donald Trump swore that he would get rid of Obamacare and would replace it with the most astonishing health care system any of us had ever imagined. But despite a 6-month effort to pass what Trump's team called the American Health Care Act, no Trump health care bill was ever passed. Again, could it possibly be that Donald Trump was outperformed on health care by a senile and doddering old man? On top of all that, Donald Trump promised to bring manufacturing back to America. He didn't exactly succeed. For example, the Foxconn plant in Wisconsin that Trump visited for a photo opportunity in 2018 has never gone into operation, and now the buildings are for sale. But the Biden administration passed the CHIPS Act, an act that motivated over 12 major firms, companies like Texas Instruments, Samsung, Micron, and Intel, to build some of the biggest manufacturing plants for microchips and batteries anywhere in the world. Could it be that Donald Trump was outdone by a stumbling senior citizen with barely a lick of a brain? And could that witless senior citizen have delivered Wednesday's speech on honesty, decency, character, and the American soul? This is Howard Bloom speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make. Or, I want to know why. Ask how. And now for the off button.